Good Thursday morning, party people. Welcome to a special live, not really a crochet along, it's a wreath decorating party today. So, we've been working on this little Thanksgiving wreath all week long. It's the Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, so that's kind of the reason for the season, I suppose. And today we're going to decorate the wreath. So we made a little turkey applique on Monday. We built the wreath from scraps on Tuesday. We made some leaves and acorns yesterday, and yesterday afternoon I made a post in our community tab with a whole list and some matching photographs of other little crocheted items that you could stitch up relatively quickly out of scraps if you wanted to decorate your wreath with. So obviously decoration is entirely up to you. This morning we had a post of a few more ideas, and Becky's finished wreath was up there. She included a little scarecrow on hers too. Super cute. If you haven't seen that, make sure you check out the community post later today. So today, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna have my tea. So make sure you've got a little beverage. I've got my glue gun. I just plugged it in, so I'm still waiting for it to heat up. I've got the wreath that we made on Tuesday, which I'm very excited about decorating. And I've got a few other things. So I've got a bowl of all of the little crocheted bits and bobs that we've made this week and the past couple weeks. I've got also like our little pumpkins. I may not use all of this, but I wanted options. A couple of my little stuffies. I've got like this little owl. I've got one of my little foxes, and the leaves, the little crab apples that we made last Monday. So bunch of things in here. I'm gonna play with them, see what I like in terms of layout. I may or may not use them. I'm certainly not going to use them all because that would make for a very jammed wreath. And I think I don't know. I think I kind of like it when a wreath has like some stuff across the bottom and then maybe a little bit up the side, and then maybe like it's hanging with a pretty ribbon. Speaking of ribbons, I have this. Ooh. This is a basket full of ribbons. I've got little scraps in here. I've got just a ton of like ribbon and nice decorating stuff. I've got this, what is this? This is like potato sack. What's the word I'm looking for? What was that?
Sandpaper?
No, it's not sandpaper. It's, oh my gosh. It just completely left my brain. You know what I'm talking about. It's that,
Burlap?
burlap. Yes, thank you. It's burlap. It's burlap ribbon. Anyway, I've got a ton of stuff here. Oh my gosh, and there's some ding dings happening. Let me take a look. Okay, first of all, we have a super chat from Masha. Good morning, Masha. Thank you so much. It says happy Thanksgiving and God bless. Yes. All of us. Every last one of us. Happy Thanksgiving for the Canadians. Happy Thanksgiving in another month, or a little month, about a month and a half for the Americans, I think. But I mean, every day is it good to have gratitude as your attitude. Am I right? And we've got a witch's brew and crochet. I love that. I'll take a witch's brew. Member for 22 months. Thank you so much. With membership milestones says, good morning, y'all. And I hope you all have a blessed day. I hope so too. Let's have some fun this morning, shall we? Oh my gosh. And Joanna. Joanna's crocheting animals. Hi, Joanna. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, nothing. Just, it's a little super sticker. Oh my gosh. It's that cute little bear. Hey, you. Pear's having a little party. It's party time. It is definitely party time. Okay, so in addition to all of that, plus the ribbons, I've also got all this. I've got 2 buckets of buttons. I've got some crochet cover buttons. I've some fabric covered buttons, regular buttons, plastic buttons, cute buttons, boring buttons. I've got a lot of buttons. So I thought I might stick some buttons in, because buttons are kind of a fun way to, I don't know, just add a little bit of like interest or color or a little bit of reflection or, you know, something. So I've got a bunch of buttons here. And within arm's reach, I've got a lot of yarn. So let's get started, shall we? I'm going to have a little sip of my tea. I'm going to check on my glue gun. I keep my glue gun in this tin. It's like an old cookie tin. Was it cookies? Cookies or chocolates? I don't know. It was some kind of a snack tin from like several Christmases ago, but it's not like a round one. It's like a tall one. So it's got like this lid, and it makes the perfect little dish for my little tiny little glue gun to sit in. And that way when it heats up and it starts, you know, gunking all over the place, it doesn't get all over my table. So I'm waiting for that to heat up. I don't need it just yet because I haven't started with the layout. So this is what I like to do when I'm decorating a wreath. And like I think I mentioned in one of the posts earlier this week, I've also got this little guy. You can make these out of scraps, which we did on Tuesday. So if you're having like a party, a Halloween party, a Thanksgiving party, a Christmas party, and you're gonna have little kids over, then making up a bunch of these small and having a little wreath decorating party, you don't have to use a hot glue gun, especially if you've got little fingers there. You can just use like regular white glue, and regular white glue, once it sets, holds things together pretty nicely, especially if you use acrylic yarn as your finishing yarn. So if you wanted to whip up a whole bunch of these and just sort of set them aside and get them ready for like a wreath decorating party, that's a fun craft, and then everybody goes home with a little wreath. So part of the fun obviously is deciding how you're going to decorate it. So I typically start with the biggest thing that I want to showcase on the wreath. So I'm going to obviously be using like a main crochet thing. I'm probably going to use my turkey because that's what we did on Monday. And I think this is my biggest. And you've probably seen a couple pictures this week where I kind of just, I've been, you know, plunking him here, plunking there. I like him to be offside because I think that as opposed to, well, if he sits in the middle, he looks like a bow. You know how like sometimes you'll have a bow at the bottom of a wreath, but I kind of like him off to the side because I'm thinking I'm going to do like a little turkey and his his Thanksgiving bounty, like, you know, one of my little pumpkins and several of the little crab apples. I don't know. I kind of, the reason I like the pumpkin, so this is the applique. The applique is flat. The applique can sit on the front, right? But the three-dimensional things look really cute plunked sitting in the middle or sitting kind of like on the inside edge. And then, of course, the whole thing can still lay flat against the door or the wall or the window or wherever you're kind of plunking it. I love these little things. So three-dimensional stuff, I'm going to kind of sit so that it's sitting inside the internal circumference area of the wreath. The flat stuff I'm going to put on top of the wreath, and I'm just going to build it up from there. So I recommend starting with your main focal thing. So whatever your main focal thing is, whether like it's the turkey or like the cute little scarecrow that Becky had on hers, or whatever you might be using, the biggest thing, which is your main attraction, place it down wherever you think you want it first. So I'm thinking I'm going to put him on, if I'm staring at the wreath, he's going to be on the left-hand side. So just like that. And I'm not gluing anything down until I've decided sort of where I want it all. Thursday morning craft party. I'm in heaven, I think. Guys, thank you all for being here and being part of heaven for me.
Is it okay to use the hot glue gun on acrylic yarn?
Yes. So you don't want to use a ton of acrylic. You don't want to use a ton of hot glue on the acrylic. Just like dabs of it. But while it might compress or melt the right where it hits in the acrylic yarn, it's not going to like melt the entire thing. So if you're unsure, I know that all glue guns are a little different. I've got like a little craft glue gun. I've done this before and it doesn't hurt anything. But if you've got like one of the big jobs that's like, you know, has different settings or something, I don't have one like that, but I know they exist. If you're unsure, do a little experiment. So take some scrap yarn, the same yarn that you used in your project, just lay it down on a piece of cardboard and put a little dab of glue on it and just watch what happens. And then put a little dab of glue on something else and stick it to that and just watch what happens. Because if it's super, super hot, it might be a problem. But these little craft glue guns, and then I use the all-purpose little glue gun glue sticks from the dollar store. Never been a problem. You just don't cake on the glue because you don't have to. Another little sip of my tea. I kind of like to drink it when it's still relatively hot. I find sometimes during a live stream, I'll get to the end of the live stream and I'll still have like a half a mug of tea left and it's cold. Okay, so after your main thing, if you've got, then go to the next bigger the next big thing. So for example, I had other stuffed toys. So I had kind of grabbed my little fox and my little owl. I even grabbed the little kitten that we did a couple of live streams ago because I thought, oh, you know, one of these might look really cute, especially like just sitting along the inside. But it's not a huge wreath that I'm working on. So I think the face of my turkey is the only face that I want on this wreath. So for example, if I was working on a second or secondary wreath, I know some of you are making several. First of all, how cute is that? little kitten sitting in the very bottom middle, or maybe the little owl. I might have to make two today. Anyway, that's what I mean. So if you want to put something three-dimensional, you want to kind of have it sitting on the inside. But like this is a small wreath, and that makes a nice little centerpiece, a little owl sitting in his eye. This might be his new home, actually. That is really cute. Yeah. So I like that. I might end up making both of these today. I didn't intend to, but glue gunning is fast, right? This is a quick kind of craft. So I think I'm going to have both of these going on the table. Why not? So one little face per wreath, I think is what I'm going to do. And then I'm thinking I like the size of this pumpkin. I also like the little white one I made. So this one's a little smaller. So let's see here. So this is Thanksgiving / fall as opposed to like Halloween. So I'm just going to hold him here so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So, whoops. Orange pumpkin or white pumpkin? Let's get everybody's opinion. So there's the orange pumpkin, obviously very fallish, or the little white pumpkin. Now, I like the white pumpkin because it's light and it matches the white in his tail feathers, but I like the orange pumpkin because I like that contrast, and I like bringing orange, which is a very autumnal color, into this wreath that so far doesn't have any orange. So, orange, white, of course, I love this. This is why I love you guys, because I kind of like the white, I kind of like the orange. I think I've only got room for one pumpkin, because I'm going to put the little crab apples around it. Maybe 2 crab apples. Yeah. Yeah, probably just 2 crab apples. So what do we got here?
Patterns on Etsy for those. I think it's a mixture.
We've got patterns. So the, yes, in the Etsy shop, we've got written patterns for the wreath, how to build a wreath. And that comes with a couple of our little freebie patterns, which is the leaf, the maple leaf, which is this guy, the one we made yesterday, maple leaf. And our little acorns that we also made yesterday. We've got, so that's a pattern bundle. And you're just, that one, so that if you want everything in one kind of go, it's got the wreath and the acorn from yesterday and mixed in with the wreath. Boy, should have warmed up my mouth before I sat down and started talking with everybody. We have patterns for the crab apple, for the little pumpkin. Those are also in the shop. They're separate. And the turkey applique too. That's also in the shop. It's separate. The fox, we do not have patterns in the shop for the fox or the owl, but we do have tutorials. These are one of those little things I haven't written up yet. We do have a tutorial. We have a pattern in the shop for the little kitten. But the owl and the fox, these are our chibi chubbies. And I've been trying to kind of put together a little.
Hold them closer, like stretch your arm out
Sure.
to the camera so we can see a little better.
I've been meaning to put together a little, kind of like a little booklet on the chibi chubbies that we've got so far, like maybe like a first edition and a second edition, because we've got several in the little chibi chubby tubby collection. These are such cute little toys and little scrap projects. I like to make these and give them out at Halloween because they're such happy little things. And they're, you know, for kids like 4, 5, 6, nobody's so young that they would try to like swallow something, but typically when you're 4, 5, 6, you're not ingesting things anymore. Everyone's a little different, but most of the 4-year-olds I know aren't trying to like swallow their toys. So yeah, I haven't got a written pattern in the shop for these guys yet because I'm trying to kind of put them together in a booklet. That list of things to do just keeps getting longer and longer. So, but we've got tutorials for them, and I put links to them in the post from yesterday. I'll make sure all those links are in the description box for today's video too, once we're done today. So if you want to go check any of them out, including the little pumpkin, the acorn, the leaves, the crab apple, the turkey, all of it. We've got tutorials for all of it. Victoria! Hello, Victoria! Victoria with a sweet super chat. It's her first! Thank you so much, Victoria! Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is a reason to celebrate and have a sip of tea. I just had a sip of tea. I'll have another sip of tea because it's still warm. Okay, so I'm going to go with, I think, looks like we picked orange, eh? If I just scroll back through here, I see a lot more orange than I see white.
I've got a poll running.
Oh, do you? Fantastic. The mister's on it, of course.
6 votes. We need at least 50.
We've got over 100 people watching. So let's get let's everyone decide whether it's going to be orange or white, and I will make it work whatever happens. The white is just as pretty as the orange, especially when I mix it with these cranberries. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, see, these are little crab apples, not cranberries. Of course, they look exquisite with the white and green, very Christmassy, but very autumnal as well, because you know all those colors start about now. But they also look really, really rich with that orange pumpkin, which is very, very autumnal. So, I don't know. Either or, guys, you pick. I'll use either the orange pumpkin or the white pumpkin. I'm definitely using my little crab apples. And that's probably going to sit, the pumpkin, whichever one I use, is going to sit right in the middle of the big wreath. It's going to sit right in the middle. And then I'm going to have my little crab apples kind of like, I'm going to tuck them kind of around it. So it looks like the turkey's sort of sitting with a bounty of sorts. And then I'm going to decorate with a few of these little leaves. I made another one. I've got like, just some, I was trying to go with like, they look like they've fallen to the forest floor already. I might put them under the pumpkin. We'll see. Because I kind of like that look of them spilling over the bottom. I'll show you what I mean.
So Victoria sent her message after the super chat because it didn't work out.
Oh, okay. Victoria, let me read that.
Good morning, Jayda.
Good morning, Jayda and Mr. InStitches, sitting here with my 2-year-old grandson, Andre. He loves the music when the video starts. Thank you. Hi, Andre. So that's what I mean. Have them sort of spilling over the bottom. I kind of like the way that looks. And then you have like the pumpkin sort of sitting up top. I'm going to try and hold this so that you can see more of that and less of my fingers.
Well, we have over 50 votes. So
do we?
That's fair.
Okay, that sounds good.
Here it comes.
Alrighty. Discuss. Orange versus white. Looks like orange won with 69% of the vote. Nice. Versus white. All right. So it is going to be orange. Orange is one of my favorite colors. So that is just peachy keen. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to hold this little dude here. And then I'm going to plunk the orange pumpkin in the middle right next to him. So because I'm sure of where I want my turkey, and I'm relatively sure of where I want my pumpkin, I'm going to start gluing. That way when I hold it up, nothing's going to shuffle. So, glue gun. I am going to just put a line of glue down, like a little zigzaggy. Pardon?
Turkey butt.
Turkey butt. I need to put another stick in there. Turkey butt. This one's open. Something about opening a plastic package of craft supplies that just sounds so delicious. All right. Yep, that is good and hot. Okay, so I've put in my extra little glue gun. So I'm just going to like zigzag. I'll show you too in a second. There we go. Nice. I've just glue gun zigzagged some glue down the middle back. And that's where I want them. And press. So, don't you love glue gun glue? Oh my gosh. Instant stick. Pat, pat, pat. It is not melting through. Everything looks just peachy keen. And I will hold that up so you can see it. Is that close enough?
Yeah, perfect.
So there he is. And that's the back. So you can see a little bit of his back and his back feathers, but no glue, obviously, because I made the zigzag a little less wide than the width of the wreath that I'm sticking him on. and he's not going anywhere. So that's perfect. And now when I hold this, you can sort of see what I mean when I want to put the pumpkin down in the middle. So I'm going to sort of decide how far up and how far away from the pumpkin I want him. And then, because I want room around it to glue down my little crab apples. Oh my gosh, that's going to be cute. Okay, yes. So let me put a little bit of glue on the bottom because I'm sticking him on the inside edge. So a little bit of glue here. Nice, like, little, like, nickel-sized glob of glue. And then I'm going to put him right here. Since that was a globule of glue, I'm just going to hold it for a second. There we go. So, one pumpkin in place with the turkey, and now I'm going to kind of, because these are smaller, I'm going to have them look like they're kind of tumbling out the front. But before that, let me see if a couple of these leaves...
That's okay if you know how big a nickel is. You're talking Canadian. How big is a nickel?
Well, I think Canadian nickels and American nickels are pretty similar.
Are they?
Yeah. It's a 5-cent piece.
A nickel coin.
A nickel coin. Do you guys not call it a nickel?
I guess not.
What do you call it? What do you call your 5-cent piece? Okay, everybody's got a 5-cent piece of some sort. 5p, 5 cents. What do you guys call it? What's the 5-cent piece? I know, who uses nickels anymore?
In the UK, they don't have nickels.
You don't have a 5... Okay, so what is it? 5... Do you have a 5p piece?
Pence,
No?
Maybe?
Maybe not, because it's such a small amount. Now, they got rid of our penny. Canada doesn't use pennies anymore, which I think is a bummer.
Could say, slightly bigger than a centimeter diameter.
Like, if you... It's not... about that much?
A centimeter roughly?
You know what? It's the size of my thumbnail.
They do have a nickel in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's the Brits that are confused.
So the Brits don't have a nickel. Okay. Well, a silver, like a dime, a 10-cent piece. It's a little bit bigger than a 10p piece, I think. You know how it's smaller than your pound.
How about 5 quid?
So is quid and pence quid? Okay. P is pence. Is quid is slang for pound, is it not?
Or cash, maybe.
I think the last time I saw like a pound, like a British pound, a pound coin, it's smaller than our loonie.
1 pound.
1 pound, a pound coin is smaller than our loonie, and it's bigger than a nickel. This is ridiculous. Go with your thumbnail.
Yeah, your thumbnail.
I'm trying to decide if I want to put my some of my leaves kind of like tucked out the bottom here. I'm just fiddling, so I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe. That's not bad. So I'm toying with this idea where I kind of just have the leaves spilling out the bottom of the pumpkin to kind of create some interest out the bottom of the wreath, because I'm not putting a bow down there. I'm thinking I'm going to hang it with ribbon instead. I was going to put a bow on the bottom. Amanda put a bow on the bottom of hers, and I loved that. And then I saw Becky's this morning, and she had hung it with the same yarn that she used to create the wreath with, and I really liked that. And then I remembered that I've seen people have got wreaths on their front doors here in our little tiny village, and some of them are like wrapped up, and there's like it's hung with the ribbon, and then the bow sits up top at the hanging part. And I might do that depending on the ribbon I go with. You're going to help me pick that too. I've got ribbon of a whole different I've got a banana amount of ribbon, and some of it's really, really thick, and it's like foldable because it's got wire in it, and some of it's just like kind of plain. So I'm gonna have a bow. I'm either gonna hang it so the bow's up here away from the ribbon or the wreath, or it's gonna be on the wreath, but it's gonna be up top. So instead of having the bow at the bottom like I originally planned, I'm thinking I might put the leaves there. So opinions on the leaves dangling at the bottom underneath the pumpkin? Anybody? I kind of like that. I can also squish them closer together. I can have them kind of like layered up a little bit. I like that. Again, it's like that sort of forest floor thing. Allow me to look at the chat for a moment. Mash has never seen Canadian money. It's very colorful. Our bills are plastic. So if you accidentally wash your wallet might suffer, but your plastic bills will be just fine. And our coins are metal, but we don't have pennies anymore. And our pennies, you were really cute. They were copper and they had little maple leaves on them. I miss the pennies. We've still got nickels. They have a beaver on it. We've still got quarters. That's 25 cents. And they've got a moose.
A moose or a deer?
It's a moose. We've got loonies, which is our dollar coin. They're yellowy gold and they have a loon on them, which is why we call them loonies. And we have toonies, which is a $2 piece. And what's on the toonie, sweetie? Is it the polar bear?
It's 2 loonies.
The toonie is it got a polar bear on it, I think.
You know what? I don't even remember. Yeah, polar bear maybe. Sometimes they change it.
And up until 5 minutes ago, the other side had the queen's head on it, and I guess the new coins have the king on it. I don't know. I've not seen any new coins yet. If you've seen Canadian money that's been newly minted since we got a king, does it have Charles' head on it? I don't know. Oh, idea. Can you tell I usually just slap a card down when I'm shopping? We like the leaves, the way the orange doesn't blend with the pumpkin. That way the orange doesn't blend with the pumpkin. I don't think I understand that, Krista. That way the orange doesn't blend with the pumpkin.
Because it's hard.
Because of the orange leaf?
It matches. The orange leaf matches the pumpkin.
Oh, I see. I'm going to have these guys in between. So there will be like
Break.
a bit of a break. Yeah. I gotcha. Okay. What else we got? Good morning, Tammy. Welcome. Leaves on the bottom. No more paper money in Canada, Debbie. It's been plastic for quite a while. It's kind of cool. I actually kind of like the new bills because there's even like a clear plastic panel that runs through it with like this funky hologram, so you can actually see through the bill in some places, and it kind of like reflects rainbows and stuff at you. It's pretty. I kind of like our money. I have just got a £5 note with the king on it, not seen a coin yet. Okay, so the new, I would assume the new UK funds have got King Charles on it. Cool. Yes, Charles is on the new coins, says Heather. Jayda, the dime has a sailing ship. You're right. The dime has a sailing ship. I forgot the dime. The dime has the blue nose 2 on it.
Yeah, that's right. The sailboat.
Yeah, the blue nose 2. That's a cool piece too. I like that. Our little silver dimes. 25% linen, 75% cotton, says Mila. I like to iron crumply bills to make them nice and crisp. 25% linen and 75% cotton. Wow! Fabric bills. How cool is that?
I think ours used to be a papery fabric mix.
Yeah, ours used to be a papery fabric mix, but I guess they went
with plastic.
They went with plastic because it's frankly more durable, I guess. Again, I like the new money. It's bright and colorful, and it's not easy to rip. It doesn't feel as good, but it is easy to like count it. If you're lucky enough to have enough bills to count.
Easy to throw into the air.
Heather works as a cashier, so she sees a lot of coins. Yes. Did somebody say money? Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with the leaves spilling out the bottom like that because I kind of like it. And then I'm gonna be plunking my little. I'm going to put my little crab apples along the bottom of my pumpkin. So I'm going to glue these into place because I really like that. So I'm going to stick with the orange one in the middle and just a little bit on the bottom. I'm only putting a little bit right here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there at the top of the leaf because I want the leaf to kind of sit out almost like it would curl like if it was a real leaf. So I'm going to leave that, the fingers of the leaf and even the little stem, I'm going to leave it unglued so that it wants to curl and move, and there's like a little kind of bit of activity to that, so it looks a little more realistic as crochet can look. And also it just kind of like anchors it in one place and you don't see any glue on the back. And same thing, about a dime-sized amount of glue on the back. Now we can talk about dimes. And this little guy. There we go. Okay, so 3 leaves are glued on. And now what I want to do is like kind of just position these little cranberries, kind of like, or not, I keep calling them cranberries, these crab apples out in front. So I think I kind of like them all bunched together, kind of plunked on. Yeah, this is looking cute. This becomes like its own little centerpiece in the middle of the, and then I'll probably put some buttons or beads up the side. The little tiny things get put in at the end. So, all right. Do I like this? Okay. Quick decision. Do I go with, I'm going to try to make these not fall down. Yes, to the little pile of crab apples kind of just collected underneath the pumpkin, or see if I can do this. I like them also grouped to the side of the pumpkin, like all 3 of them. Let's see if I can hold this up. The other idea is this, where they all kind of sit grouped off to the side of the pumpkin. I'm doing my best to hold these so they don't fall down. So grouped to the side, or sort of slung underneath like a little smiley face underneath the pumpkin. What's everybody think? Get those little stems to sit up. Apples on the side, says Masha. Group to the side. Group to the side. First one. Second one. On the side. Okay, everybody. So let's plunk them on the side. In which case I can use sort of like, I'll have one kind of sitting up next to it on the inside edge, and then I'll have the other 2 kind of spilling down underneath. And then you've got like that. And I've still got like, I've got lots of pretty buttons and things, and I want to like, I'm going to use little buttons in small groupings as well. Like I'm just going to glue them in. I'm not going to sew them, but I can have like a little pile of buttons underneath the pumpkin as well. If I had twine, a little twine bow would be cute. And I've got things like little itty bitty pine cones. That might look really cute there. Okay, so on the side, group to the side, on the side, either one, says Maeve. On the side, on the side, on the side, side group, side to the side. Well, that's unanimous. All right, here we go. I'm going to just, first one, I'm going to sit right next to the pumpkin. So a little bit of glue on the bottom, just a little polka dot of glue. Sit up, you. And I'm going to plunk you right there and squeeze you into place. Okay, so, oh yeah. So that's the first one sitting next to the pumpkin. Ding. Hey, Katie! Katie's been a member for 14 months. Thank you, Katie. With the membership milestone says, this is adorable. We should make a Christmas version. Oh yeah, baby. Definitely going to be a Christmas version of this. I love wreaths. They're such a simple thing to like decorate with. And I love it when I see my neighbors put their wreaths on their doors. It's just kind of like, makes the street feel so cozy. I love that. Okay, and then I'm going to just sort of squash these little guys down in front. So same thing, a little bit of glue in the bottom. I'll show you what that looks like. Just a little polka dot of glue in the bottom. So just a little bit. And I'll nestle you into place here. Give it a good squish. And then the third one. And I've got to put another little glue stick in. And I'll just nestle you into place. Give you a real good squish down. And remember, if you squish something like a three-dimensional object to get it to stick, you can squish it back into shape afterwards. So let me do that. Give you guys a little bit of a squeeze-a-maroo. All right, so turkey, pumpkin, crab apples, leaves. So far, so good. And I've also got these little acorns. So I made the 2 acorns yesterday. Oh, obviously, they're going to sit on the other side of the pumpkin, aren't they? Uh-huh. It's going to be a very busy little bottom. I love this. And it looks like they're sitting on top of an oak leaf. So what if I do that with the... Yeah, so I'm going to hold those in place as best I can. I'm going to put them on the other side of the pumpkin. What say you? I like that. So sitting on the other side of the pumpkin, clustered on top of that leaf of the same kind of color. So it almost looks like they're sitting on top of an oak leaf. I could also put them in front of the pumpkin. So let me just tuck these into place so they'll kind of stay. So it looks like this. Yeah. So beneath the pumpkin or to the side of the pumpkin? Beneath the pumpkin or to the other side of the pumpkin? What does everybody think? Welcome, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, we are decorating a wreath today. How fun is that? While we're thinking about where those acorns are going to go, I'm going to put another glue stick in my little baby glue gun here. Beneath the pumpkin, to the side of the pumpkin. I like below the pumpkin. Okay, so Tammy, Joyce, either way looks good. Carmelita can't decide. Neither can I. This is why I ask. Beneath, says Martha. Side of the pumpkin, says Jojo. Acorns to the side, says Catherine. Under, says Debbie. Side, says Becky. Okay, I think we're going to have to do a poll, mister, because I've got like a 50-50 going here.
I'm on break.
You're on break? I like it at the bottom. I like it to the side. I like it at the bottom. I like it to the side. I can't quite decide. In the meantime, while we're deciding that, do I look at ribbon? No. I'm going to look at ribbon last. Let's look at beads. Buttons, 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 buttons and beads. All right. So these are 2 of my button containers. I have a lot more. I've got... Should I pull out the brass buttons? Is this a brass button kind of project?
It might be a bit heavy for the glue.
It's... Well, they're not real brass, or at least I don't think most of them are. I think they're kind of like plastic.
What's the pole again?
The poll is acorns, question mark, to the side or to the bottom of the pumpkin. So, pardon me, I'm going to see if I can fish out my jar of... There we go. Right where I left it. Super duper. Yeah, to the side or the bottom. So I've got them on the bottom right now. I can show that again. So it's on the bottom of this. So this is what it looks like to the bottom of the pumpkin. So to the bottom of the pumpkin, which I like. Or to the side of the pumpkin. Let's see if it stays. Sitting on top of that similar colored leaf. I kind of like that too. I think I can get it to sort of show. So to the side or to the bottom?
Kathy asked if you have wooden buttons.
I do have some wooden buttons. I think they're in these containers. These are mostly my like metal buttons. I love that sound. Let me see. So I've also got some that I've covered with crochet. So a couple of those might look really cool, like that one in particular, since it's already like the right colors, orange and white and stuff. We've got a tutorial on that as well if you want to do some take your boring take your boring ass plastic buttons and dress them up a little bit. It's the word of the week, apparently. Crochet, little granny square covered buttons. That would be kind of cute. Yeah, because that brings a little bit of like lace and interest and more intricacy to it. So I'm going to pull them aside. I might use those. That's the wrong color. Let me see. I've got, that's a big one. Oh yes, I've got some fabric covered buttons. So I might use those because that's kind of some interesting texture. And I got wooden ones in here. Oh, I've got these. Oh, those are really nice. That's that. Now they're plastic, but that's that old-fashioned like woven leather button look. I actually have some woven leather buttons. They're hot cross buttons. Yeah, they do kind of. I like the color of that. So I might consider those. Let's see here. That's mostly plastic. A donkey emoji. Oh yes, we do. I think we need a donkey emoji. A donkey emoji. Evolution of the chat. Evolution of the chat. Donkey. Yes. It's a great idea. These are just interesting. They're large, so they might not work, but they almost look like they've got like a little leaf carved out in the middle of them. These are huge buttons, and they have like this cool thing that they snap on with. I've got a bunch of those. I've got some bone buttons. That's bone. I have absolutely no idea where that comes from, but that's another old one. Found that, and that actually is exactly the colors. I might have to use that. Gee whiz. I've got some beads in here that look kind of, these are wooden beads with an interesting kind of colored, textured, I might use those. Let's see. So I guess what I'm looking for is, oh, here's a wooden one. Yeah. Like, wood obviously has that, the right texture, the right color, the right feeling. There's another word that means texture. Like, it has that natural sort of sheen to it. It kind of brings a different level to the overall look of the wreath. So wooden ones are good. Let's see here. So there are donkey I don't know. We're going to have to find a donkey emoji. Okay, I think we should make our own donkey emoji. That would be cute. Oh, yeah, here are my leather buttons. So that's my old school leather buttons. They're almost too dark. I think they might be too dark. Well, maybe not. I'll think about that. Okay, so let me just grab out some pretty buttons here. Again, I might use some, I might use all, I might use none. It depends on... Do you have a button that looks like a sunflower? I have a sunflower.
You could glue it to the button.
A little bit of yellow. It's not the right color. I could glue it to the button. That's kind of, well... I wonder how tricky it would be to make, if I took a brown button and added little crochet yellow petals to it. I have yellow thread. I might have to try that. Idea for later. All right, I'll take it. What do we got? I'll put this down here. Acorns near the pumpkin, to the side, 64%, on the bottom, 35%. So to the side it is. All right, I will glue them into place. Peachy keen, thank you guys. So to the side. So I'm just gonna, so because I gave the acorns yesterday that little tiny like stem, I'm just gonna put glue on the stem and then root the stem in underneath the pumpkin. So just a little bit of glue up top. And then I'm gonna tuck you in right between the pumpkin and the leaf. That's the first hot glue burn of the day. Should probably be using like a pencil or something to kind of put that in place. All right. We must suffer for our art, right guys? I just need a little like, cause that's like a tiny little spot.
Band-Aid?
No, I don't need a Band-Aid. This never gets that hot.
Medieval gauntlet gloves?
Medieval gauntlet gloves. Well, I mean, I should just have a pair of those anyway, because that's cool. So what I want is, gee, if only I had something long with a handle that was narrow. Yeah, I don't want to use one of my crochet hooks. I'll just use this button. I'll just use this button I don't care about. There we go. All right, so, okay. Acorns are now attached, tucked into the pumpkin off to the side.
That looks good.
Not bad so far, everybody. Now, I think that's all I'm going to do in terms of the bigger crochet stuff. So I've got my turkey up. I've got my big pumpkin in the middle. So that's going to hang sort of so that the pumpkin sits in the middle. And then all of that kind of falls out the bottom. So now I want to start with the other little odds and ends. So this would be like the beads, the buttons. I'm going to do the ribbon last. I'm not generally a lover of these brass or pretend brass looking buttons. I guess because they kind of make me think of, like, you know how you live long enough and you go through a couple of fashion trends and you get really sick of a fashion trend that you've seen for like, I don't know, 5-10 years. And then you don't want to see it anymore. And then like 20 years go by and you're like, you know, kind of like how everybody likes the 80s right now. I got so sick and tired of seeing like baby blue and pink together because like that pink and blue 80s thing. I got so sick of that. That rose, dusty rose from the 80s. I was so sick of that color for so long. And now when I see dusty rose, I have a nostalgic moment. And I'm like, oh, dusty rose. Yeah, that's nice. Maybe I'll add a little dusty rose into something. I'm not quite to the point where I want to look at these brass buttons again. So sometimes they look good. Like, for example, if I just want a little bit of glitz kind of tucked in underneath the pumpkin, some of those pretend brass buttons, these are just plastic. They're made to look brass though, but that might be nice. Like a few of them kind of just tucked in. Ding. Lynette. Hi, Lynette. Lynette with a super chat. Thank you so much. Welcome to the chat, Lynette. Thank you. So, you know, this might be a good place to use up some of these sort of like buttons that I'm not too pleased with at the moment. Also, it will create a little bit of difference in, it's not texture. It is texture, but there's another word for it. So while everything, like where all the crochet is kind of a matte finish, this is a shiny finish. So it'll change up the things that catch the light. I'm really, really struggling to find the words today. So not texture, but it is texture, but there's another word for it. I really like that bone button, so I might use that. And of course the wooden ones are nice too. Let's see. Sip of tea. I finished a tea during a live stream. That is awesome. All right. Oh, that's cute. So now I want to go through, grab some buttons that I think would be interesting. You know, might add to the bountiful look that I'm going for, and just create a little bit of interest underneath the pumpkin and separate the pumpkin from the tops of the leaves a little bit. And they can really be anything. I think I'm going to stay away from plastic. So while that's a nice plastic orange, I think I want browns, like the wood colors. I'm going to see if I can find some more wooden buttons. Oh, there's one. Literally just put my fingers on it. And I know I've got a couple more. I don't want to dump this whole thing out, so bear with me while I dig through it a little bit. Oh, that's a big one. No, that's plastic, but that's not bad. I'll show these to you close up in a second. Oh, yes. Wooden buttons like this, right? Like that looks almost a bit like a pine cone. I feel like that would be a good button to use. Let's see if I can hold it in front of my hand so you can see that a little better. That's a neat button. That's a wooden button. That would be appropriate. Let's see if I got a few more of those. That's a neat one.
The word you're looking for would be luster.
Luster's a great word. Luster refers to like the quality of the finish of the texture. It is differences in texture that I'm going for, but luster's a great word. But no, it's like, I can't believe it. The word is just poof, left my head. Middle-aged woman moment. All right. That's cool. Pearl. Yeah, I know. It'll come to me at like 3 in the morning. I'll wake up. I'll be like, ah, that's the word. All right. Oh, there's another wooden one. Good. Okay, so I have some wooden ones and some bone ones. Oops. And I heard you. I'll find you later. And then, let's see if there's anything in my metal button collection that might suit. I have so many. So I was thinking in terms of like, this is a metal button. It's solid across the top. It's plain. So there's no like imagery in it. So it doesn't necessarily look like, oh, that's a button, but it looks like, you know, it adds a little bit of sheen and sparkle, a little bit of interest, without obviously calling attention to itself as a button. Like, oh, look, she glued buttons here. Does that make sense? Like,
shimmer.
Shimmer's a good word.
And reflective.
A little bit of
Those are the latest guesses.
all of it. None of those are the right word, but I love all of those words. Yes, I would like to add a little bit of all of that to this project. Oh, that's a good one. So this one is reflective. It has texture to it because it's not just shiny. So that might be a good one. Yeah, I like that too. That almost looks like an old gold coin. I like that. And this one too. Yeah, I might use these. Okay. All 3 of those are a nice choice. So these 3 buttons, I'm going to show them to you one at a time just so you can see them. So I like this one. You have to tell me, sweetie, if you can see them clearly or not. So that one's got a little bit of like texture to it. I'm going to sort of turn it towards the light so you can sort of see that it's got a little bit of texture. So it's kind of interesting. This one is just plain shiny, so nice and shiny. It's a smooth finish. And this one has like a star finish, so it's kind of like there's little tiny lines that go from the center out. So they're all metal. They're all kind of the same color, but they all kind of have a little bit of a different look to them. Ding, ding. Vima! Oh my goodness. Vima, thank you so much. Vima's in the chat with a lovely super sticker. Thank you so much, Vima. Vima's here today too. Wonderful. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put all these yet either. Thank you, Vima. And I don't want too many, so... All right, I'm getting to have a cluttered workspace here. I also have some really nice fabric covered beads. And in this case, just because the majority of the texture, the feel, the look, the whatever the word is I'm going for here, of this whole wreath is soft. It is crochet. It has a fluffy, soft, matte, light sucking non-reflective look to it, which is fine, which is why adding buttons of different, like a different fiber, a different material can create interest. But having said that, adding little like fabric covered buttons kind of continues with that fabric fibrous theme that the entire wreath is made out of. And I feel like that might, like these right away, these suit sitting underneath the pumpkin more than the shiny ones. So let me just grab a couple of these. Plus my grandmother covered these, so that's fun. I can use some of my grandma's covered buttons here. All right, so little tiny little detail, but I'm loving it. These are fabric covered buttons. Oh, I hope they stay in place. I'm gonna do my best to get them. Can you see them as I slowly tip this forward?
Still, I'll zoom in. Let's get some zoom going. There we go. The ones right in the middle.
Right in the middle under the pumpkin. So those are fabric covered. They're not shiny, but they've got interest. They've got a little bit of green in them. They're kind of cream, and I already like those better than the shiny metal ones. So I'm gonna cluster those 3 buttons under there because I like that. Now how am I gonna do that in a little setting of 3? Yeah, maybe I'll try to do 5. I have a whole bunch of these. So, oh my gosh, that's cute. 3 or 5. I was taught when decorating, you should always do groupings of odd numbers. 3s, 5s, 7s, even 1. 1 and 3. Just because there's something about the offset or asymmetrical look of it that is like somehow appealing to the back brain. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. I think maybe 3. So in other words, you've got your pumpkin, the pumpkin and the 2, so you've got sets of 3. The pumpkin and the 2 acorn is a grouping of 3. The 3 crab apples is a grouping of 3. The 3 leaves is a grouping of 3. That's why it's kind of like, so your 3 can be an obvious group, but not necessarily the same thing. So that's why 1 pumpkin, but with 2 little acorns still somehow looks right. I don't know. I did not go to design school. Anybody who did, please tell me why that's the thing. I don't know. Yes, odd numbers with triangles are decorate lessons, says Crocus. Yeah. Thank you, Crocus. Yeah. 5, says Sandra. You have 3 crab apples. Yeah, and these are very, very small. So 5 might look, well, one just rolled away. There it is. Let's see if I can get that. Go, gadget foot. Come here, you. And not knock over tea. Got it. Woo! Mr. InStitches has gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Mr. Woohoo! Congratulations to Kathy, Catherine, Connie, Nancy, and Auntie Ree. Congratulations, guys. Welcome back to the family. Thank you, Mr. So if I use 5 of these little, these are really cute and they're small. So using 5 isn't such a bad idea. That's 3. So 3's not bad. Is 5 better? Yeah, maybe it is. Especially because they're small, so I can kind of like group them on top of each other. What if I group some of them around a wooden button? So 1 wooden button. You might ask yourself, what's the point? Yeah, what's the point, Jayda? So, oh, wait, what if I use this little guy? Okay, let's see if I can do this. Can you see the little buttons grouped around the bottom of the pine cone? What does everybody think of that? So I will hold. So the little pine cone with the 3 little covered buttons underneath. What does that look like? Okay. So do we like that? I kind of like that. I'm going for that bounty table, that bountiful look. I know the buttons aren't food, and neither is the pine cone, but it's that collection of bounty, that spilling out of color and shape and design. So should I include the pine cone? I like the pine cone because it's
I say yes.
a textural difference. I like the pine cone. I think I'm going to use it. Looks good. Love it. Very cute. You two are adorable. Thanks, Katie. Looks cute. Pine cone down. Yes on the pine cone. Yes to the pine cone. Cute. Yes, pine cone. Yeah, I like the pine cone too. So let's tuck the pine cone in so that you can kind of see it on a little bit of an angle. And then I think I'm going to ring the bottom in these little covered buttons because I like that, again, just so you can sort of see it up close. These little covered buttons, they're a cream, a very off-white background with like a little bit of sage green printing on it, probably some kind of like a little flower or something. And they're really, really cute. And it's just like that little bit of like, again, with a little bit of a light spot, the white, and with the green kind of to bring it all together. I think I like that. They look different. So I'm going to stick my little pine cone on, a little bit of glue on the bottom of the pine cone only. And I'll just tuck that into place so it's glued. It's anchored. There we go. So there's the pine cone is anchored next to the two little acorns. And now under the pine cone, I'm going to glue in those three little, on a slightly kind of like a crooked smile. So glue on the back. I love the smell of a glue gun. It makes me think of Christmas crafts and... All right, that's one. I'll do 3, and then we'll see if maybe it needs 5. Okay. Ding, ding. Let me see what's going on here. Nancy! Hello, Nancy! Nancy's been a member for 24 months. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy says, loving the way the wreath is coming together. Me too. Isn't this fun? I love little wreath decorating parties. I also love everybody giving their input. I think that is like part of the super fun. Okay, so here's 3. 3 of those little covered buttons tucked around the sort of the side towards the bottom of the pine cone. And you see how it's kind of like, it's a small detail, but it's bringing a little bit of light and interest to that little middle of the pumpkin area without being like overbearing, but it's still got some green to it. I kind of like that. It makes me think of when you just kind of glance at the floor of the forest, you see all kinds of colors all together in all different sort of sizes. So that's 3. Now I could go with 5 and it would look something like this. Mister, you might have to zoom in again. So that would be 5, maybe. So that's 5 of the buttons versus the 3 that I have glued down. So that's 5. I'll take the other 2 out. You can just stay right there.
I think you're good with 3.
And then that's 3.
It's just a hint of, yeah, I see what you mean.
So 3 versus 5.
Well, let's do a poll. 3
Yeah.
versus 5.
3 versus 5 of those little buttons. Because I like that. And this has been it's been really fun building out the bottom of the wreath. It's also like where you're putting the weight of the wreath. So when I go to hang it, it's going to want to hang nice and orderly, I suppose. But even with all that weight on this little homemade wreath, it doesn't pull the wreath itself out of alignment. Scraps. Dawn's been a member for 9 months. Thank you, Dawn. With a membership milestone, says, I'm going to make one of these. I have pipe cleaners that I can use. Perfect! Multiple layers of pipe cleaner. And if it feels a little flimsy, just tape the whole darn thing and then add strips of plastic bag or strips of fabric, whatever you want, just to kind of like bulk it up and make it a little bit sturdier. You could even while you're wrapping fabric around it, especially if you're using pipe cleaners because they're soft, you could wrap more pipe cleaner around it, and that would give it a little more strength and a little more like shapeability too. Making stuff out of scraps is so much fun. It's like the essence of crafting. I love it. So how are we doing here? 5, 3, 3, 5, 3, 3, 5, 3.
We have 34 votes so far.
Oh, you're doing a poll. Wonderful. Thank you, sweetie.
Let's try and get to at least 50 votes.
And while we're doing that, so I think I'm content with the. I might put in 1 or 2 more buttons. I'm not sure. And it might be these guys. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna put these away. Definitely we're going to want to pick some, I'll put all of this over here. So I might stick another, so those 2, and then should I think, what about including like one of these off to the side? Like it's just one, just for a little bit of interest's sake. I kind of like that.
It's like a slice of lemon.
It does sort of.
Yep.
If I think I will include that. I like that. It's the right color. Again, it's a little bit of interest. Like the mister says, it looks a little bit like a slice of lemon, and it pulls the imagery just up the other side a little bit. So that's going down. I like that. And that was a fun little crochet. So in the middle of the back, some glue. I'm going to tuck that into place. And hold it for a second. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that. Love it. This is looking good. I am quite pleased with this. Okay. So one interesting little button. Who knows? This is why I love to make things for the stash. So I made a bunch of those crochet covered buttons and I put them in my craft stash. I don't necessarily have a plan in mind, but it's fun to kind of, I feel like crocheting, I want to experiment with some thread. And it's fun to do something like that and then go, well, I might use this later. Look at that. I had no clue that that was going to wind up on a Thanksgiving wreath when I did it. But I really like the way that looks. So nice little bit of balance there. And now, Mister's giggling.
No vote changing.
No voting.
Once you vote, it's cast in stone.
Now I think I need to pick some ribbon to hang it with. So, I mean, I love the burlap. We'll think about this. I'm going to get the burlap out. We'll think about it. Okay, so is there anything in here that might look good? Gee, that is nice. So,
we're gonna have to call on the lurkers.
Have we got a fairly tied? Oh, that's nice.
It's close, but there is a current winner.
Okay, well, that's cool. I've got orange. That's not bad. I have a darker orange. That's nice. So I've got all of my like smaller scraps. What's this? What's this? It's just some tassels. I've just got like a handful of smaller scraps in here, and then I've got, this doesn't really say Thanksgiving though. It's the wrong colors. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh. Oh yeah. Okay. Nope. So, oh man. Right colors, wrong theme, I think. 70s in the house. That just looks like every photograph from my toddler years somehow.
Okay, I'm gonna send you the poll.
Okay. Oh, that's cute. Let's see. Poll incoming. 3 or 5. 3 wins with 56%, 5 with 43%. Oh, that's a pretty clear winner. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the 3 little buttons underneath that acorn. Nice choice, everybody. So I'll put those ones away for now. And let's pick a ribbon to hang this with. Now, I can hang it with a ribbon and attach a bow to the top of the ribbon too. Like, that's not a big deal, so that when it's hanging, the bow kind of sits, like, let's say the hook's here. The bow sits up here, then there's the 2 ribbons that hang it, and then the wreath below it. Or, like, I can have a bow sitting here, but I think like that would be just too busy, so I'm going to have a bow up top. So I've got some nice hanging ribbon. I'm just kind of going through here. I've got like all this ribbon that I'm trying to see if I've got anything that's kind of fitting, and I think I've pulled out.
Sunshine in the middle of the bow. That was a suggestion.
That's a cute idea. I like that. All right, I think I've pulled out what. So, okay. So I'm making it easy. I've got 2 different ribbons that I think would be good for hanging. You can hang it with anything. Like I said, Becky used more of the same yarn. I even have more of the same yarn I could do that with. But I thought, again, for an interesting difference in texture, it might be fun to go with some ribbon. And I may or may not... okay. I have a lovely silky orange ribbon, very autumnal. It's the same as color as the pumpkin, so it would pull the pumpkin color up to the top of the wreath. Or I go with a really fabulous texture that's the same color as the wreath, so it doesn't stand out as much. And I'm just going to hold this up so you can see this. This ribbon has like little satin, tiny cording that runs across the top and the bottom. And there's a rich green velvet strip that runs through the middle. This is out of my grandmother's stash. I have no idea what she used this to edge, but I just love this. So this is really nice. So this would be, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So that's if I hang it with the green and the ribbon. And you see there's that cozy texture continuation. So it's not really shiny. It's not really, like, it kind of is the same color. It blends in. If you look close enough, you go, oh, that's pretty, right? So there's that. Or I use the orange, the pumpkin orange. And that would look like this. So orange, so it's the same color as the pumpkin, or green, and it's the same color. It kind of blends with the rest of the wreath. So what color are we going to hang it with? The green or the orange?
All right, another poll. This is the stream of polls today.
This is the stream of polls. Well, this is what happens when you're kind of like decorating as you go. My next question is, do I make a bow? Is this too much? Is there such a thing as too much? This is really thick. I don't know if I can make a bow out of this.
The sandpaper?
The sandpaper? This might be too big. Let's see what I can do here. I think this might be too big. And then I can't really get this to show. It's not two-sided, so I think it's too big. I think it's too big. And then of course I could cut that up, but I think it's way too large. I think it's too thick.
Yeah, because you can't distinguish between, if you folded it in half, you might be able to do it. It's too thick.
It's too thick.
It's too wide.
Yeah, it's too wide. It's too bad because that's obviously burlap. That is like the right thing to go with, but I think it's too thick.
You want to just hold it there and we'll give it a look-see?
On top of it?
Yeah, like do
sure.
Your little bowl, and just so we can get an idea. Oh, it's starting to look a bit like a bow.
So I was thinking like not here because that's too much, but like more like if it's hanging, if it's hanging from the knot. Do you know what I'm saying?
It works if it's a huge door and it's really far away from the, but it's not bad actually.
It's not bad. I don't know.
What else do you got?
Ironically, I don't know if I can.
What if you cut it in half?
Like down the middle?
Yeah.
It's kind of like finished on the ends to keep it like it's been serged to keep it from unraveling, because burlap unravels immediately. So I think it's all or nothing with this, I think. Folding in half, let's try that. And then I think you start to kind of lose the, yeah, I think you kind of, the thing about it being wide is that you get like a, I think you start to lose it. I don't think it starts to, nah.
We're going to have to do a tutorial how you make it into a bow.
Oh yeah, it's just sort of, it's a little fancy folding trick. It's not even fancy. It's just like, you lay it flat, and then you take one side. This is the part that always kind of confuses me. You take this and you roll it down and twist, and then you take you kind of pin it against the back. So like you roll down and like you twist. I'm trying to do this backwards.
It's hard to do with sandpaper.
Yeah, it's hard to do with sandpaper. Anyway, and then like you kind of pinch the top. Also, this is a very wide piece. It's like for the length of I have, it's not maybe as long as it should be to make a proper big bow. It's like, again, it's a scrap. You know me and my scraps. I keep everything. I'm a craft hoarder. What can I say? That's hoarder, YouTube, CC, hoarder. All right. Maybe not. So not sure about that. And
I will send you
the other thing I could do is make a bow, but
like
I could crochet a bow. I could also sew a bow, but I don't think I'm that married to the bow idea that I want to like bother, because like this looks, I like the simplicity of this. And then if I tie a bow with my ribbon, then it's all kind of like it looks like you've kind of tied it up and put a bow. Pull. Discuss. Orange ribbon, 53%. Green ribbon, 36%. Sandpaper, 10%. Orange ribbon wins. So we're taking the orange color and we are drawing it up top. Okay, I like that too. So I'm going to adjust this so I've got the same amount of ribbon on both ends. So just so you see what I did, super simple. I'm going to take the ribbon, fold it in half. And you can go to the front or to the back, doesn't matter. You just reach through that loop and grab the two ends and then bring it up. And that is that. So let's see here. I kind of like the way it looks when it's flat. There we go. So then, depending on how long you want it to sort of hang below the hook, I don't think I need it to hang very low. I've got, where's my lighter? Things are about to get really wild in here, everybody. Hey, does firing up a lighter on YouTube count as a firearm? Ha ha ha. So this is that silky ribbon. I just want to like make the ends, just burn the ends a little bit so that it doesn't want to like.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, do try this at home. Just let them cool down before you like fiddle with them. It's no hotter. It's no more or less dangerous than using a glue gun technically. So, all right. So now my ends won't fray. And I'm going to make a little knot, but not down too far. And then I will tie a little bow. And this is the front. So let me just make that look a little bit neater. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
You know those little things we bought, that suction cup?
The Scotch, the 3D thingies?
What are they called?
They're hooks. They're removable hooks.
Yeah, what are they called again?
I've got them here somewhere, she said, looking around desperately. Where the heck did I...
Anyway, do those work outside?
I think I asked Krista this. Krista, you and I talked about this, right? Those little removable Scotch...
They're
3M hooks. And, you know, you're supposed to, like, kind of clean the surface and then you glue them on, or you stick them on, and then when you want to take them off, you, like, pull the little bottom and they unstick. And I think I asked Krista if they worked outside, because I think Krista said she put one on her door. So, because it gets really cold in the winter. Command hooks. Thank you. Whoever had that. Command hooks. Krista, yes. Do they work outside in the cold? That's a good question.
Or the humidity or whatever.
Or the humidity or whatever. Yeah, anybody from a cold or a humid climate. Because obviously they work inside. They're great inside. Command hooks, yeah, good. I'm rubbish at tying bows, says Catherine.
They can work up to -30, says Krista.
Yes, and -30, says Krista. Okay. Alrighty, baby. So yeah, a command hook on the front door. Pew! Perfect. Or wherever you want to hang this. We have a shed that looks like a little barn, and I'm just thinking this would be so cute hanging on the barn. But this is really fancy, so I think I'm going to hang it inside because it's got all this crochet on it, and it can get windy and wet here, especially in the fall. So this might be an indoor thing. You can hang it in the window, in which case you can get those hooks that are on suction cups. Suction cup hook on the window. Pardon?
They work outside in Alaska. We use them for Christmas lights.
All right.
So if they work in Alaska...
Oh, hi, Sue. Hi, Sue. Well, there you go. Sue's seal of approval outside in Alaska. Okay, so they can handle the cold. Fantastic. So yeah, if you want to hang this in the window, so I'm probably going to hang this in my window. Those little suction cups with the hook that you can get to hang all kinds of things in the window. You just hang it so that it's facing out, and then it doesn't matter what the outside elements are doing. So there you go. Oh my gosh, I am just tickled with this. Thank you guys so much for your help. I love asking you guys sort of like, what do you think? A, B. This is just, it just makes for such a cute darn little, I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And now I have a little Thanksgiving wreath just in time for the Thanksgiving weekend. And you Americans, if you're going to make a wreath for Thanksgiving, you've got like a whole month and a half now to like plan it out and decorate it and stuff.
All right, hold it up. Let's get a really good look at it. I'm going to zoom in. Hold it up a little higher. Okay, stop. Pause there. It looks fantastic.
I'm so happy with this.
Looks edible.
It does look kind of edible. I mean, that's Thanksgiving, right? It's like bounty and sharing and sharing the harvest.
Turkey
I love that.
butts.
Pardon?
Turkey butts.
Turkey butts. Gotta have the turkey butt. Okay, so thank you guys. I am just so delighted with this. This was so much fun. Great way to wrap up the live crochet along, craft along. I think I want to call this a craft along. I think next Monday, so just in case you're wondering, have I got that somewhere nearby? If you recall the mixed media pumpkin we did, so we actually painted a pumpkin and then we added some crochet detailing to it, and I said at the time I have a ghost. I want to do the ghost on Monday. So if you're going to be here for the Monday live stream, we're going to do the mixed media ghost. It's that little ghost. I found it at the dollar store. I thought it was right here. My craft room requires an overhaul. Holy cow. I have just been so busy and excited making stuff. Oh, wait, it's in here, isn't it? Did I put it in here? Thought I put it in here. It's on the shelf. Ha! This darling little thing. So this little ghost canvas, it was a dollar store find. I mentioned this several weeks ago. I want to do this mixed media project on Monday. So we're going to paint it. Obviously, the painting isn't going to be too complicated. I don't have glow-in-the-dark paint, but if I find it before Monday, I might use that. But either way, it's this is going to be painted white. I'm going to put like little eyes on it, super simple. And then I'm just going to add a little tiny crochet detail to it. So that'll be a little mixed media project that we do on Monday. So if you want to do this along with me on Monday, then dollar store find, or if you're shopping online for craft supplies, ghost canvas, ghost shaped canvas is what you search. And like I said, they had these at the dollar store. It was like $1.50. So just so cute. Very, very thin. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did with the pumpkin. I'm going to screw it to a wooden stake and put it out in the front garden for Halloween. So that's going to be Monday. So a little mixed media project Monday. I'm going to call this a mixed media project we did this week. So I know we did some crochet and stuff, but building this out of scraps was definitely mixed media because we were using all kinds of scrappy, crafty garbage, I guess. Turned out great. We'll definitely be decorating a wreath for Christmas. I might even want to do one for Halloween. Maybe we'll do a spooky evening craft along just before Halloween. That might be kind of fun because this was fun. And playing with a glue gun is just, I mean, it's easy peasy. It's the best kind of crafting. So yeah, so look forward to some of those ideas. Tomorrow is Friday, right? So tomorrow we've got a regular video. It'll be at 1:00 p.m. Eastern. And it is not wreath associated. It is going to be different, but it's our regular Friday video. So look forward to that, 1:00 p.m. Eastern. And until then, and then Monday, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. So we'll see you tomorrow for our regular video, tomorrow early afternoon. And then we'll see you Monday for another live stream. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. InStitches? No?
I think you covered everything.
I think so too. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for being here today and helping me make this.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving!
This weekend.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadian friends and family. And
I have an animation for that.
yes, Mr. has an animation for that.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone in Canada, especially if you've got Canadian family. You're probably going to be doing a little celebrating along with us. And we will see you guys tomorrow for the video, Monday for another live stream. And a last little plug for our Etsy shop. All this month, if you buy 4 or more items, you'll get 20% off. So a little sneaky sale all the course of October. And check out our pattern workshop page on our workshop for our free patterns. We've got a whole bunch of fall and Christmas related patterns there. They're free. We've rejigged the website recently, so it should be a little easier to navigate if you want to go check out the pattern workshop page or any of the other pages on our website. So there, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much again. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, and